beautiful people. Welcome back. Welcome back to Journey Through Alkebulan. You guys, this upload is very, very necessary. This is about why we as a people, hate the truth. And I know many of you may be perplexed by this title, but our behavior, our words, totally support, such a title, such a statement. We are a people that hate the truth. Okay, we get very, very, very defensive when someone speaks the truth to us. Okay, whether it be about ourselves, whether it be about our homeland, and I see that as it relates to homeland, that truth-hating spirit on the continent. Okay, I've seen that primarily on the continent, but as it relates to our personal lives and our behavior, and the way that we think, we become very, very defensive, and we close off our ears and we turn our backs on the truth. That is detrimental to our growth, our progression, and the reestablishment of our nation. It is one of the primary foundational building blocks of our existence and in building a nation. So I wanted to give some etymology, just a bit. So the root word in which truth comes from, it comes from the root deru, and it means be firm, solid, steadfast, have a sense of correctiveness, loyal, veracity, which means, truthful and trustworthy. And so those things, those words describe, what truth is, and the characteristics of truth. And let me just start with my experience on the continent, since this is my new home. Yeah. I have seen throughout, the commentary on my content, and particularly, there were two instances where I was just convinced. I had seen some things prior, but I was convinced via these two instances that the people on this continent really do not like the truth. And that also means that they don't like change, necessary change. And it means that you don't like, uprightness, you don't want to have, veracity, you don't want to have goodness and goodwill. It means that you reject, all of the characteristics that demonstrate truth. And truth brings upon change. necessary change. Okay? And when one is willing to accept the truth, it means that they are ready for change. If you are rejecting truth, it means that you are not ready for change, which means if you are not ready for change, you are happy with your present condition. That's what that means, flat out. So the two instances that I'm referring to is one, when I was speaking about what happened to me in throughout my stay in Tanzania. Okay, and I spoke about money being stolen from me, and as of recent, when I spoke about the scam from the Swahili language school here in Dar, the Dar Swahili language school. So when I spoke about that being, one of the signs that it was time for me to journey to other places, although that was already in our plan, but it needed to be mentioned because it was one of the things that just pushed me to go at the particular time in which I did. And I got some very nasty comments. And the other instance was when I shared what happened to my son and I when we arrived in Ghana, and the whole them holding us hostage in this dingy hotel picked by the government there, or whomever, and just being forced to pay nearly $100 per night when I had already paid for another hotel based off of a false positive result. Okay, so I'll start with my video that I did with Tanzania and sharing what happened, the whole scam with the Dar Swahili language school. It just didn't happen to me. It happened to hundreds of other students who, we paid nearly $1,000, and we were supposed to get, and 1,000 USD, and we were supposed to get, a 2-year student visa, and we didn't get it. We didn't get it, and I know that the school was aware all along that we were not going to get 2 years, and as I've watched No Limit Eddie, I saw one of his latest videos, and he spoke about someone telling him, I'm sorry, the lighting on this phone, you guys, because I'm using another phone, is really bad, and it keeps going in and out, so I'm sorry about that. He spoke about someone telling him that the school was not even authorized to give a 2-year student visa. They were only allowed to give out student passes, and they weren't for 2 years. So as a business owner and as a native Tanzanian, it is the job of the owners of the school to know this. So you can't, no one can tell me that they were unaware. They knew exactly what they were doing. And it is backfiring on them. The jig is up. We found out that it was all a scheme and a scam and a sham, and I don't know what they thought was going to happen when we found out. I don't know if they thought we weren't going to find out, but it's despicable behavior. They knew what they were doing. They were, thirsty and hungry for the money, and that blinded them. So they probably didn't even care. They just felt like, okay, well, we can just pay somebody off, the authorities, and then they'll just look the other way. And that happens a lot throughout the entire continent. I've seen it. Okay, so that's no secret. And that's another reason why change cannot come, because everything has a price. There is no integrity at all. No integrity. Okay? Money, money, money. Money is the god that runs the continent. And not only there, I mean, we've seen this happen in other places, but I want to stick to the continent. Okay? And as it relates to the people, there is no uprightness, for the most part. Okay? Talking about the majority, there is no uprightness. And this is from what I've seen with my own eyes, and others have seen it too, if they want to be truthful. Okay? So, everything has a price. You can just slide someone a little something, and like I said, they'll look the other way. They won't uphold the law. There will be no justice. So when I spoke about that, I got the comments like, oh, well, we the US and the UK, they scam us too. And, scamming happens everywhere. Well, first of all, we know that scamming happens everywhere, but we're not everywhere right now. We are on the continent in a particular place. And we paid for a particular service that's offered in the particular place in which we are or were at the time of the transaction. So we're not talking about it happening in any other place other than where we currently are or were at the time. So the other places in which it happens is totally irrelevant to this particular situation. So we can go ahead and cancel that out. We can, not even acknowledge that, because that's not where we are currently. Secondly, it's a grossly deflective statement. I don't want to deal with it, so I'm just going to point the finger at another place or another person that may have participated in like behavior. That's cowardice. It is extremely immature. Okay? It shows that the person making the statement is co-signing the behavior. It shows that the person making that statement is not ready to take accountability. It shows that the person making that statement does not want to participate in bringing upon change by acknowledging the truth. And I say it all the time that the truth, it does not require our agreements. Whether you like it or not, whether you agree or not, whether you acknowledge it or not, the truth stands. And it's the primary thing that matters. Okay? So, I got those, deflective comments. I got the comments of, oh, well, if you don't like the way that things go here, then you need to go ahead on and leave and go somewhere else, or go back to America. All because these people don't want to accept the truth. Because they don't want change. So now, because you want to ignore the truth, you just rather me go and leave and go back somewhere else. Which, again, I don't have to do, because I can go wherever the hell I want to go. Let's make it very clear. Okay. So, yeah. So I got those comments. I've got the comment of, oh, you're making Tanzania look bad. Oh, you're talking bad about Tanzania. No, I'm talking truth. And if it makes Tanzania or residents of Tanzania or citizens of Tanzania rather look bad, then it's their own fault, because it's the behavior. It's their behavior. So that fault is on them. You're making your own homeland look bad by engaging in such deplorable, dishonorable, dishonest, deceitful behavior. It's you. But again, you're dealing with the people who reject the truth. They definitely don't want anything to do with accountability. So again, they go to their friend, deflection. Or they get belligerent and start to tell you that they don't want you in their homeland. And I got the same type of comments, similar comments when I was speaking about what happened to us in Ghana and the false positive test. And it wasn't just myself and my son. There were several other people voicing the same concern who figured out that it was all a scam and a sham. And it shouldn't be any surprise, really, given the current state of affairs. So I got the same comments. Oh, you're making Ghana look bad. Oh, you need to go back to America, or get out. And oh, we don't want you here. I mean, vile, disrespectful as immature, grossly deflective commentary. And so this is what I have to say. Don't complain about your situation if you are not willing to accept the truth about how your present day land, how you got into the predicament, how it got into the predicament in which it is. Don't complain about it. Don't complain about your government, your leaders. Don't complain about anything. Don't complain about not having employment. Don't complain about any wrongdoing, because it's very selective. Because when I was in Ghana, that's all I heard, and being in Tanzania, I also heard it on a regular basis. Sister, this is going on, that's going on, this isn't right, that isn't right. Oh, you'll tell me about things that are directly affecting you and your people, that has kept you in such a low estate. But then when we come and we point out some of the same behaviors, but as it relates to us, then we're the bad guy. Then we're unwanted. Then we're trying to create a smear campaign, if you will, against a particular land, when that's the furthest thing from the truth. We speak the truth because we do love this continent very much. And if we didn't love it, we wouldn't be here. And we don't have to. We can go wherever it is we want to go. But we want to be back here in this land of our ancestors. But we want we want it to be at its very, very best. We want it to be healthy. We want it to be well. We want it to be prosperous. We want it to be upright. We want it to be honest. We want it to be trustworthy. That's what we want. That's going to be beneficial to us all who inhabit these lands within this continent. I don't understand why you all cannot see that. It's such a gross level of just immaturity and ignorance, and you guys have got to come out of it. Now, I'm talking to you out of love. And if you cannot receive it in this way, then this is not for you. But it's not going to stop the truth. This is what I've seen. A bunch of justifications of the unjustifiable. Pointing the finger. Oh, it was this person's fault. Oh, they must not have known. They didn't know that, they couldn't give out 2-year visas. That's bullshit, and you know it. Let's call a thing a thing. Just like in Ghana, they know what they're doing. They know what kind of scam they're running with the false positives. They know it. There have been plenty of people who have been in the same predicament, and they have proved the test takers wrong. Their results were wrong. They took a test right after the false positive, and the test was negative. There's no way that 30, 50, 60 people are all going to have false positives or positives, and then everybody is asymptomatic. Absolutely not. That's just not going to happen. It's not. So we have to call a thing a thing. And if you want change, brothers and sisters who inhabit the lands of this continent, if you truly want change, I would encourage you to come down off of your high horse. Okay? And accept the truth. Because only then can change be ushered in. But if you're going to reject the very thing that's going to bring upon your freedom, your liberation, your progression, then it's all for naught. That means you don't want change, so stop complaining. If you're going to reject the very thing that's coming to help you and aid you, then just keep your mouth shut. Don't complain about anything because it's in vain, because it's obvious you're not willing to do what it takes to uplift yourself out of your poverty, out of your low estate, out of the scamming and the scheming. Low vibrational behavior. You don't want to come out of it. You don't. You just love complaining. That's annoying, and it's pointless. It is pointless. If you want something different, you have to do something different. And what do they say to alcoholics and drug addicts? It's the first step. Okay? The first step, to sobriety is first admitting that you have a problem. And children of this soil, you don't want to admit that you have some pretty profound foundational problems as it relates to integrity, as it relates to veracity, as it relates to truth. Because truth can only be ushered in and be exhibited upright behaviors. And scheming and scamming and lying and being deceitful are not the characteristics to usher in the truth. So again, you all are perpetuating your own condition. I see it all the time. Even the poor, robbing the poor out of money. I mean, upcharging someone because you feel like, because they weren't born in the land or, on the land, or you feel like they have the money. Lying. I've heard some people even talk about the time issue here. Let's talk about it. When you set a certain time and the person that you set the appointment with just decides to mosey on in 5 hours later, if they even show up. And I've heard diasporans say, oh, well, this is Africa, so, you just got to accept it, and roll with it. No. You see, when you agree to an appointment with someone, your sister or brother, you have made a contract with them. And so when you don't show up on the appointed date and time, you have broken a contract. And you don't, half the time they don't call. It's just, oh, we don't show up. You end up calling them to inquire why, to get the reason why. So there's not a care in the world. There is no respect. It's very disrespectful. Time is a currency. Time is a currency. So whatever you spend your time doing, it is what you have bought. So if I set aside some of my time currency to have a meeting with you or for you to do something for me and you don't show up, I have just gotten nothing back in return for the time currency that I have given you. That's not okay. And it's a way of you keeping your word is a way of developing trust. But if you don't keep your word, I cannot trust you. Therefore, I cannot continue to do business with you. So you're losing out on money. Business expansion. Because most businesses are built by word of mouth. So if I know that you show up on time and you do a great job, then I'm going to tell at least 5 other people. So you need to look at me as 5 other people, including myself. That's 6. So now out of one person, you have just gained 5 or more customers. That's what you guys don't understand. Those are the things you don't understand. It's so disrespectful to waste someone's time currency. And it speaks volumes about your character. So this has nothing to do with, that's just the way that it's going and people trying to minimize it. It's not okay. You've created a contract with me and you've broken the contract. You've shown yourself to be unreliable and untrustworthy. And you have impacted the expansion of your business and cash flow. That's what you've done just by not showing up. It's not okay. So, brothers and sisters, I end with this. You will continue in your lowest state as long as you continue to reject the change bringer, which is truth. Truth is here to set you free, but you keep rejecting it.